Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. First of all, a quick apology for the lack of a video last week. Unfortunately, it was another example of life getting in the way. It couldn't be avoided, but it's really good to be back. I'll start this week with my 4K journey. It begins here. I'll be placing an order with Currys online a little later on today, hopefully for delivery the week after next. I did go into the store one day last week, and that trip to Currys perfectly demonstrated why I don't go into the stores anymore. To cut a long story short, I walked through the door and spotted a flock of salesmen halfway down and thought, oh Jesus, here we go. So I started to veer off to the right, and it reminded me a little bit of that scene in Jurassic Park when Bob Peck is explaining how raptors attack, not from the front while they're staring at you. The attack comes from the side, from the salesman you didn't even know was there. So just as I veered off, I heard from behind me, anything I can help you with, mate? And I said, no, I'm fine, thanks. I just want to have a look at the TVs. Okay. Keeping my eye on the flock of salesmen halfway down, I veered off to the right, down the side of the store, and as I walked past, one of them came towards me and said, you need any help with anything, mate? I'm fine, mate. Honestly, I've just walked through the door. I just want to have a look at the TVs. Is that okay? Yeah, no problem. I had a look at a handful of the TVs, probably for about a minute and a half, when a third salesman came up to me and said, can I help you, mate? No, honestly, look, I'm just looking, is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. Had a look at the TVs, checked out the 4K players, picked out the two that I wanted, made my way back to the TVs thinking I might as well order these in store while I'm in here. And then a fourth salesman came up to me behind me and basically straight in my ear said, anything I can help you with, mate? Maybe jump. And I thought, you know what, fuck this. So I said, no, I'm fine, honestly, I'm just having a look. And that was it. That was my the end of my journey into Currys. I got in the car and thought, yeah, that perfectly typifies why I don't go into the stores anymore. So if anybody from Currys is watching, it's a bad practice. I know you have to do it. I was in sales myself for years. And my approach was I used to leave people alone for 2-3 minutes, and then I would literally just breeze past them and just say, if you need any help with anything, mate, I'm just over there. My name's Tony. And they'd usually say, cheers, mate, thanks for that. And that'd be the end of that. What people don't want is salesmen descending on them from all angles, bugging them for offers of help when they just want to have a look round. So, as I say, if anybody from Currys is watching this, somebody there has missed out on about £1,500 of commission, because I'll be ordering it online. I was perfectly prepared to pay for it in store, get the delivery organised and all that sort of thing, but I thought, you know what, no, because the next thing they're going to offer me is extended warranties and bits and pieces to go with it and this, that and the other, and I thought, I don't need it, I'll do it all online, and that's why I do it all online, to avoid all of that. So not the most pleasant of experiences, but I found what I wanted. I then went onto Facebook and put articles on there of the ones that I was looking at and asked for help or advice. So thanks to everybody that replied to that, Dave, Steve, Rick, all of you lot who came back with advice on, you know, which ones to get. And as it happens, I picked 2 really good ones. So I'll be ordering those online later for delivery, hopefully the week after next. So finally the 4K thing has come off, thank God. I've already been looking at some discs to invest in when I get it. I've already got, I think, 4. I've got Close Encounters, which it goes without saying is going to be the first thing I watch on it. I've got a Clockwork Orange, that'll come a close second. And I've also got, I bought these ages ago, The Shining and Doctor Sleep, both on extended versions. They're both 4K. So I'm looking forward to having a look at those. And I've written down a handful of discs that I'm looking at getting. One that I'm really looking forward to seeing is Silent Running. I've gone really crazy over this movie and I've never actually seen it. I know it's one of Mark Kermode's favourite movies. It's one of his favourite science fiction movies. He's really passionate about this one. I've seen the trailer to it. It was made in 1972, directed by Douglas Trumbull, who was in charge of a lot of the effects and stuff on Close Encounters. So it's going to be worth a look. And I figured if I'm going to watch this thing that I've gone so crazy over, I might as well do it on 4K. And it's being released in a nice Steelbook edition in December, I think December 12th. So that's going to be a pre-order very, very shortly. I think it's a Zavvi exclusive, that one. I've never used Zavvi before. So not nervous about it, but I'm also a little bit sort of wary of places that I've not used online. But I know quite a few people have sort of used them, so I've opened an account, and I figure that should be the first thing I try with it. Saturday Night Fever. It was announced a couple of weeks ago that it was being released in 4K in the US, sort of any time now, and I was advised to just hang on because chances are with a release as big as that, it's bound to appear in the UK, and sure enough it did. So that has already been pre-ordered. I believe that's November. Another one that I got quite excited about, and I think Dave, you put this on the group, is War Games. Matthew Broderick, directed by John Badham. I love this movie. I haven't seen it for a while. I've got it on. I think I've got it on Blu-ray, but I haven't watched it for quite a while. So I will be almost certainly investing in that. Now that's available in the US only at the moment, but I'm fairly sure again that's bound to come out in the UK because 4K is really taking off now. Another one I wouldn't mind getting is The Batman. Not the biggest fan of superhero movies, but I did enjoy this way more than I thought I would. 3 hours long, and visually it looks stunning. But I watched it on DVD. Now to watch that on 4K is going to be something. So I think that's one that I'm probably going to get. And Star Wars, I didn't realise it was available on 4K. They're available individually. I just need to make sure that they're going to be worth the upgrade from Blu-ray, because I've got the Star Wars movies, or the first 6, as a Blu-ray box set. But if they're worth it, and the image quality is a lot sharper and the sound better and all this, I will upgrade to 4K on those. And I have promised myself that I'm not going to start double dipping and buying every movie that comes out on 4K if I've already got it on Blu-ray. If it's something that I think is going to look stunning on 4K, i.e. Big scale sci-fi things, stuff like that, I most certainly will. But anything else, sort of dramas, comedies and this, that and the other, I'd be very surprised if I start double dipping, because I did this and I did promise I wouldn't do it when I upgraded to Blu-ray from DVD, but I ended up doing exactly that, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. But the plan is not to go crazy with the 4K disc, but that's a small handful of the ones that I wouldn't mind getting straight off the bat. It was also announced, well, you guys have been putting on the Rocky movies. Now, I've got these on Blu-ray, and this is a perfect example of what I've just said. Chances are I will not be upgrading those to 4K, but I know you guys are quite excited about it. I think it's Rocky 1, 2, 3 and 4 have been announced so far, so I'll leave you guys to watch those and let me know whether they are worth the upgrade. That is when I've watched them for the first time, and if I think I like them enough. So we'll see how we go with that. Shout out, right, Dave Oliver, I've got it all on cards here. There's some great content gone on this week, mate. The Hellraiser 2022 review, you quite liked it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry, I'm tapping the cards again, Jace. I do apologise. I'm trying to stop doing that. The Hellraiser 2022 review, haven't watched it yet. I plan on watching it hopefully this week, so I'll give you my thoughts on that one. I don't see any reason why it won't work. I know Clive Barker has really, really enjoyed it, and it's I read an article this week saying that he is looking at writing further installments. It's inspired him to do that, so that can't be bad, seeing as he wrote the original one. So I'll have a look at that. Violent Night. Not sure about this one. I did watch the trailer and enjoyed it, but as soon as I saw that it was from the makers of Nobody, a movie that I've been avoiding like the plague since it came out, even though I've heard how good it is. I don't know. I probably will have a look at that one, almost certainly. The Terrifier review. I saw this a while ago, a long, long time ago. I remember being surprised just how graphic it was. It was real old school exploitation gore type of thing, way over the top with the blood and all that sort of thing. Maybe it's something I need to take a look at again, seeing as there's a Terrifier 2 on the way now. So I might have a look at that one. We'll see how we go. One I'm really up for is VHS 85. Not 85, is it 90? 99 is the next one, but you put a thing on this week that VHS 85 is coming out in 2023 to be directed by Scott Derrickson. I haven't seen The Black Phone, but it's one that I'm really, really curious to watch. So yes, I would be very much up for that, but I need to catch up with the other VHS movies. I'm not sure whether I've seen the first one, can't remember. I'll know as soon as I put it on. But they're all on Shudder, so I will be taking those in at some point. Your review of Smile, you liked it mostly. I'm very curious about that ending you were talking about. You gave it a 4.5 out of 5. That's a cracking review, as in what do they call it? Excuse me. Here we go. You know what I mean. 4.5 out of 5 is a good result. It's one that I want to watch. Couple of guys that I know at work have been to see it and they weren't impressed with it. So I would imagine it's going to be quite a divisive movie, but a lot of people a lot of the reviews I've read online have all been very, very positive. It relies a lot on jump scares, but apparently the jump scares are perfectly justified on this one. So I am looking forward to watching that one, and I will catch it as soon as I can. I didn't know you were a cinema worker. What did you do? Were you like projectionist or usherette, is that what they call it? I don't know. We used to have usherettes when I used to go to the cinema. Just curious to know what you did there and how your days there went. I love talking to people about stuff like that. But cinema workers, yeah, I'd be very curious to know what you did there. So that's Dave. What else have I got here? Steve Mack. Where have I put Steve Mack? I've got it all on cards here. I watched your latest video, mate. Let's talk Criterion for October. Some cracking titles coming out. Let's see what we've got here. I've made a note of all the Jean-Luc Godard movies that you mentioned. Most of them I've never heard of. I love Breathless, Abu de Souffle, is that it? Weekend I absolutely hated. I just couldn't get on with it. It's one that maybe I need to watch again, but I've really got to be in the right mood for that one. I just thought it was a complete mess, but that's just my opinion. I'm sure it's a masterpiece to some. Yeah, I've made a note of all the others, and I will be tracking those down to have a look at. Let's see. Definitely up for The Night of the Living Dead on 4K. I've seen the movie quite a few times. I've got an edition of it. I don't know which one it is, but I've definitely got it upstairs somewhere. But I get the feeling that this would benefit from a 4K restoration, so I should definitely be getting hold of that one. Another movie I'm excited about is Lost Highway. Now, I'm a David Lynch fan, but I've not seen all of his stuff. Loved The Elephant Man, Wild at Heart. I've seen a few episodes of Twin Peaks that I really enjoyed. But I've never seen Lost Highway, but I'm quite fired up about it. I watched the trailer and thought, my God, that looks really bloody good. So that's almost certainly going to be a Criterion purchase for me, that one. And the other two that you mentioned, I'm curious about. La Llorona. I've not seen The Curse of La Llorona. I'm not a massive fan of the Conjuring films, so that's probably why I've avoided that one. But this is basically based around that same sort of legend, so I wouldn't mind seeing that. And the horror movie Cure from 1997, I wouldn't mind a look at that. And also Takeout. That's pretty much all of the ones that you mentioned last week, so I've got an expensive month coming up if I'm going to buy all those. But a cracking video, mate. Looking forward to seeing what you say about the November releases when that one comes out. Let's see, Steve Mack. Chris, nice to have you back with the videos, mate. I'm loving them. The horror-thon that you're doing at the moment, some cracking titles you've got through the first few days. Oculus, I remember seeing it a long time ago, made me jump a lot. Lights Out, same. Paranormal Activity, oh my god. I love found footage movies. I found them really unnerving, really unsettling because they look real, and Paranormal Activity was one of the best examples of that. The only thing that was better than that would have been the Blair Witch Project, but I think it slightly gets ahead of that one. But yeah, Paranormal Activity, that's one I need to catch up with again. I haven't seen it for quite a while. The Crazies, seen the 1973 version, but not the 2010. So that's one I wouldn't mind a look at. If I've seen it, I've probably only seen about the first half hour. Is there a scene in it to do with an American football field or something like that in a high school? If it is, then I've probably seen that bit or as far as that, but I can't remember watching the rest. Hills of Eyes Part 2, brilliant sequel. Loved the soundtrack to that. Very Friday the 13th-ish, didn't you think? But that's one I need to watch again. I've got that on Blu-ray somewhere upstairs, so that would be a nice double bill one night, is the Hills of Eyes Part 1 and 2. Not so much the remakes. I'm guessing they're going to come up on Jason's thread at some point, but I found them way over violent and gory. Honestly, I'm such an old lady nowadays. I just can't. I can't stomach anything that's too sort of graphic, and I do remember those being way over the top. But I have seen them. Love the random thing you did, by the way, on your TV. That was really nice. My Bloody Valentine. What a choice. I actually like both versions of that. I'd watch either of them anytime. Love the Robin Hood mug. I'm reading from notes here, as you can see. I put it all down on cards this week. Love that Robin Hood mug. Robin Hood was actually the last animated Disney film I think I saw at the cinema. I remember my mum taking me to see it. I'd have been about 11. Loved it. Loved the songs. Loved the story. Everything about it, and I still love it now. I haven't seen any of the more recent ones. I can't really be doing with stuff like The Lion King, heaven forbid Frozen, anything like that. To me, that's not true Disney. True Disney to me is Robin Hood backwards, like Jungle Book, Aristocats, Snow White, Cinderella, Pinocchio, all that kind of thing. I can't get on with this new breed. I've not seen any of them, so maybe I should give one of them a try, but it's not something I'm sort of bothered about doing. Did you watch Blonde in the end, by the way? You said you were really eager to watch it. I'll be talking about that one a little bit later on with a bit of luck. And Hellraiser 2022. I'd be very curious to know what you actually made of that. I'm going to be watching that one hopefully sometime this week, so I can let you know better on that one what I think of that. Let's see, that's Chris done. We've done Steve. Who's on the other? Oh, Jason. Oh, God. I can fit all the others on one side of a card. This is Jason's, look. Let's see. Love the idea of the top 10 crap movies, by the way. Forgive me if some of these posts go back probably 2 weeks. You might even not remember putting them on. That's what you get when you miss a week. But you suggested the top 10 crap movies, as in movies that you thought were going to be good but turned out to be absolute rubbish, in your opinion. I like that. I'm going to run with that when this one's done. Your remakes and reboots. Loving it. Some classic titles been coming through this week. Conan, haven't seen either of them. Infernal Affairs and The Departed. It's going to be one of them weeks, isn't it? No, not seen either of those. I didn't realise The Departed was based on, I imagine Infernal Affairs is a Korean movie. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Evil Dead. Loved both versions. I remember, well, it's all very well saying the remake was a complete bloodbath. The original was as well, but both good versions. The Magnificent Seven. Haven't seen the remake. Love the original. Not a massive fan of westerns, but if I had to pick one that I would want to watch again, it would probably be The Magnificent Seven or any one of the Clint Eastwood westerns. The Fly, Vincent Price all the way. David Cronenberg, love his version. Can't be doing with the arm wrestling scene. You'll know what I mean if you've watched it. Very, very good remake, but completely different from the original. But given the choice, I would rather watch the Vincent Price original from 58 or 59 anytime. The Thing, all three versions. Love the original. I know you're not a great fan of it. And I love the 1982 remake. As for the 2011, which I believe was a prequel, never seen it, so I don't know. I need to take that one in at some point. Psycho, obviously the original, but saying that, I remember reading that Gus Van Sant was making a remake of Psycho, and it was going to be shot for shot exactly the same as the original. And my first reaction was, what's the point in that? Then it came out, you got Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates, Anne Heche as Marion Crane, and I watched it expecting to probably watch about half an hour and think, what's the point of this? I actually quite enjoyed it for what it was, and it's one that I wouldn't mind watching again. But I have to admit, when I first heard about it, I thought, no, it's never going to work. You don't touch something like Hitchcock, even though I've heard that there is a sequel to The Birds in the works. Now, quite how that's going to work, I don't know, but I'd be very curious to see what they do with that. There was a sequel called The Birds 2, Land's End, which I've got hold of, but I've not watched yet, and I need to see what that's like, but I'm not holding out much hope on that one. Red Dawn, seen the original but not the remake. The original, total classic. The Amityville Horror, another total classic, 1979. I've not seen the Ryan Reynolds version. I wouldn't mind the look at it because I do like the story. There have been so many sequels and remakes of Amityville. There must have been 10, 20 of them. They just keep churning them out. I've only seen the first, the second, and I believe I've seen the third one, which was made in 3D. I didn't go much beyond that, so I don't know about the others. Pet Sematary, the original was disturbing as hell. I've not watched the remake yet. I will do at some point, but I'm in no hurry to watch that one. Friday the 13th, obviously the original is a million times better than the remake, but saying that, the remake is not bad. It's certainly not as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I would watch it again. I've seen it 2 or 3 times and always enjoy it. I think I've talked about this one before. I'm actually listening to the audio book, and I'm going to finish that and then watch part 1 and part 2 of the remake, which I've not seen. I've seen the original 1990 TV movie, the 2-parter, several times. Love it, but I've certainly not seen that one. So what else have I got here from you? Loving the mugs and the t-shirts, by the way. Again, this was 2 weeks ago, so you've probably forgotten you even put these on. But I'm loving those t-shirts. That Halloween one, why are Tesco's keeping stuff like that in? I don't get it, but I love it. And I'd certainly like a look around that Mablethorpe shop that you put on. That I could spend hours wandering around that. Let's see. Oh, you're back doing your videos. Well, you don't do them very often, do you? But you do little ones every now and then. And I enjoyed that one that you did the other week when you'd just been to buy Jurassic World Dominion. And I think it was the extended version. That's another one I probably would buy on 4K actually. So that's another one to look forward to. But you seem to like it, so I'm going to take your word at that one and probably invest in that one. Let's see. Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Oh, you didn't like it, did you? I didn't think you would. As soon as I started watching it, I thought, I'm really enjoying this. I know who won't. But I'll give you my thoughts on that one later on. I did a little review for Letterboxd last night, which I put on the site last night, on the group last night, so that's probably worth a little read. It's not a long one, but I'll give you my proper thoughts on it probably next week now. Let's see, what else have I got on here? Mark Bailey, Weekend at Bernie's. I've taken it under advisement, mate, and I've written it down, and I will be taking that and possibly the sequel in as well. I do know about it. I watched the trailer. Looks brilliant. So yeah, I'm surprised I've not watched that. Random Guy, enjoyed your Still Crazy video, mate. I know you're off for a couple of weeks, but I'm looking forward to seeing what your next one's going to be. You're very insistent on me watching, what's the Jeff Bridges one? The Big Lebowski. So I'm going to try and fit that one in hopefully sometime this week, and I'll let you know what I think of that. But I managed to get hold of The Last Picture Show, which is a Peter Bogdanovich film from 1971, a black and white one, set in a small Texas town. And he's in that, and he looks superb in that. So that's one I wouldn't mind taking in. But yeah, loving the little Random Guy videos, mate. Keep them coming. What else have I got here? Oh, Nick Cross. You've been recommending me some movies this week. One of them was Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I think we talked about this one, but I don't know whether you'd watched it. I have, and I think it's worth watching, but I'm not sure it will be a little bit too slow for you. Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan, whatever his name is. That looks really good. Yes, I'm definitely up for that one. And Pray for the Devil is an absolute must. That is almost certainly going to get a watch. What else have I got here? A couple of quick bits of news. Gangs of London season 2. Yeah, okay. I was pretty much traumatised by the first episode of the first season of Gangs of London. The violence was just horrendous. I actually did a full video on it, if I remember right. I'll have to re-stick that one on. The new season looks brilliant, and I'm sure it will be brilliant. But whether I'm actually going to watch it is another matter. I do need to watch, obviously, the first season, and judging by my reaction to that first episode, it's highly unlikely that I'm going to be watching the rest of it. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, the production values on it look amazing. It looks like it's going to be a cracking series, but I'm just not sure I've got the stomach for it. The other one I got quite excited about, I read this week that Sam Raimi was going to direct a remake of the ventriloquist horror movie Magic, which originally starred Anthony Hopkins and Burgess Meredith. Now, I really would have loved to have seen that, but I followed the link to the article, and it turns out that Sam Raimi knew absolutely nothing about it. He says, I'm not connected with any remakes, let alone a remake of something like that, but I thought he could have done a really cracking job, so I'm kind of hoping that he changes his mind on that, because a remake of Magic with him at the helm is almost certainly going to be worth a look. And there's a new American Pie movie coming out. Oh, do you know what? I was quite excited when I first read it, because I quite like the American Pie movies, but somebody put on the group this week, I can't remember who it was, but they're actually quite right. Aren't they getting a little bit old for this now? I mean, it's all based around college humour, isn't it? And they're not at college, they're not even college age anymore. They're sort of middle-aged guys now. So I don't know. I'd probably watch it if it came out, but I tend to agree with whoever it was that put, aren't they getting a bit too old for this now? I tend to agree with that, but we'll see how we go. Right, I'm coming up to 30 minutes, so I'll call it time on this one, but I'll be back in a few seconds with Steve McCartney's Top 10, quick reviews of Fall and Blonde, a stack of DVDs, well, videos. I've slipped back to the 80s. Blu-rays, etc., soundtrack of the week and a book of the week as well. So I'll be back in a few seconds, folks. I hope you lot, welcome back. I'm going to try to keep the videos to a sensible length. I know you asked me for a 2-hour one, Jace, but I can't do it. That was a real one-off, that one I did the other week. And I think last week, or the week before last, was 77 minutes, and it's way too long. So I'm going to try and keep it at a sensible length. I think an hour is just about right, so we'll see how we go. I'll start this one with Steve McCartney, our Criterion Guy. He's sent me his top 10. So I'm going to read these out. Some cracking titles on here. Number 10, Silence of the Lambs. What a movie. Anthony Hopkins at his absolute best. Jodie Foster, superb. Terrifying story. I haven't seen these sequels to this. I have to admit, I've not seen Hannibal and I've not seen Red Dragon. So I really do need to catch up with those. And I've heard very good things about the series Hannibal. So that's another one that I need to take in at some point. But yeah, good choice. 9, Star Wars. Oh, what can I say about Star Wars that I haven't already said? I wouldn't say it changed my life when I first saw it, but I did come out of the cinema thinking, that was amazing. What the hell was that? It took me a few weeks to actually get round to go to see it when it came out in 77. I remember going round there a couple of days after it opened, and the queues were literally out of the door, round the corner and down the street. And I thought, no. And I went back probably about 3-4 weeks later and had the cinema pretty much to myself and absolutely loved every second of it. I still say now, the original Star Wars from 77 is by far the best of all of them. Closely followed, obviously, by Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I have seen the following 3, the prequels. They were okay, but I didn't get the nostalgia hit that I get when I watch the original trilogy. And as for the new ones, the only one I've seen is the first one, The Force Awakens. Seen that one, quite enjoyed it, but I've not seen the other 2. But they will almost certainly be 4K purchases when I do get round to watching them. But yeah, cracking choice. 8, The Godfather. Arguably the greatest movie ever made. I loved it. I remember seeing it one Christmas. It would have been about 1977. It was on TV, very late. I was surprised at how violent it was. I'm still surprised at how violent it is. But what a brilliant movie. There is a series on Paramount Plus at the moment documenting a drama documenting the actual making of it, and the run up to it, the organisation of it and all that sort of thing, which I would not mind watching. I can't remember what it's called now, but I definitely wouldn't mind to watch it that. But The Godfather, absolutely superb. Number 7, Primer. I've never heard of it. I did look it up. I understand it's a sort of a low budget independent time travel movie. So it is one that I'm looking forward to seeing. I do take one movie off everybody's list and promise that I will give it a watch. It's usually something that I've not watched. I think it's going to be Primer on this one. So they're both on Amazon Prime, so I will be taking that one in. And I believe there's another one of his called Colour something. Can't remember the title. But I will definitely be taking Primer in. Number 6, Interstellar. This is one that I do want to watch. I can't remember who directed this now. Is it my favourite? The guy that always confuses me. The guy that did Memento and Tenet and all that sort of thing. It's one that I want to watch, and I've got it on Blu-ray, so that's a definite watch at some point. Number 5, Prick Up Your Ears. Brilliant British movie from 1987, basically documenting the life of the playwright Joe Orton. Starred Gary Oldman in an early role, Alfred Molina. Absolutely superb movie, well worth watching if you've not seen it. British movie from the 80s, you can't go wrong. Number 4, Broadcast News. And this is William Hurt and Albert Brooks, and I believe Holly Hunter. And this is a kind of a satire comedy drama based around an American news network, which I did enjoy. I've seen this a couple of times and I did enjoy it. Put me in mind of the movie Network from 1976 with Faye Dunaway and Peter Finch. Very, very similar to that. So I wouldn't mind watching that again, actually. Number 3, Alien. Total classic. This was the first time we'd seen or pretty much the first time we'd seen sort of science fiction blended with horror on an epic scale. Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver in an early role, John Hurt, Harry Dean Stanton, Yaphet Kotto, who was the woman, Veronica Cartwright. Superb. Never forget the first time I ever went to see that. It terrified me. Absolutely superb. Number 2, 2001: A Space Odyssey. I love this movie. I've seen it quite a few times. I'm okay for about the first sort of 2 hours, and then it just goes apeshit. I did not get the last, probably 10-15 minutes. Whether anybody in the world understood that last 10-15 minutes, I would love somebody to try and explain it to me. I have bought a book about this thick on the making of it. Whether that will explain it, I don't know. But I do love 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that will definitely be a 4K purchase, as I've heard it looks absolutely stunning on that format. So that will be a definite purchase very shortly. And I will be watching that again and seeing if I can make head or tail of what the ending was all about. And number 1, Lawrence of Arabia. Perfect Sunday afternoon entertainment. 4 hours of pure magic. David Lean epic, based around the life of T.E. Lawrence. Just superb. I've seen this quite a few times. Yeah, that's another 4K one that would look absolutely gorgeous. The desert would look amazing on that. So yeah, that's Steve's top 10. What have I got here now? Reviews. Let's do a couple of reviews. First movie is called Fall. It concerns a group of 3 adrenaline junkies, thrill seekers. These crazy swines who climb rock faces and stuff like that. It begins with them doing just that, and one of them falling off and dying. His girlfriend grieves for the best part of a year, and then the third party turns up, tries to drag her out of it by taking her into the middle of the desert to climb a 2,000-foot radio tower. Just looking at this thing is horrendous. They climb it, and then through certain circumstances realise that there is no way down, and they are stuck on a platform that's no more than about 6 or 7 feet wide. I loved this movie. I really enjoyed it, but I have to say it made me feel very uncomfortable. I don't suffer from vertigo. Not really. I don't particularly like very high heights, but normal heights don't normally bother me. But this, just watching some of the camera angles, I did actually feel quite nauseous at one point, just watching it. So it achieved the effect that it was going for, I'm sure. I get the feeling that this would look absolutely gorgeous on I keep harping on about 4K, and I can't help it. But I get the feeling in high definition it would look absolutely stunning, but I'm not sure I'd have the stomach to watch it again. But the story was superb. It was well done. As I say, those camera angles are just scary as hell. So I would say if you suffer from any form of fear of heights, vertigo, anything like that, do not watch this film. I don't suffer from it, but I did by the end of it. But it was a superb film, well worth watching. That's called Fall. The other movie I watched last week is Blonde. Now, there's been a lot of publicity surrounding this. It's on Netflix at the moment. Ana de Armas plays Marilyn Monroe. And what you have to know going in is that it is based on a work of fiction. It is based on a novel. It is not a biopic of Marilyn Monroe's life. It is a fictionalized account of what they think was Marilyn Monroe's life. As I say, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding it, and I have to say it is a truly shocking film. Beautifully done, very stylized. There are a lot of changes in aspect ratio, from widescreen to 1.85 with the bars down the side, from black and white to colour. with no real point to it as such, but it looks amazing, don't get me wrong. Ana de Armas is perfect as Marilyn Monroe. They've recreated certain scenes from Monroe movies, I think one of them was The 7-Year Itch. I think another one was Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. And the recreations of these movies are absolutely amazing. You cannot tell the difference, well, I certainly couldn't, between what I thought was the original movie and these recreations. I find myself watching it and thinking, is that a recreation or is that an actual clip from the movie? They are really stunning, really, really well done. But the whole thing is just as disturbing as hell. It's been compared to Spencer, which is the, well, I wouldn't call it a biopic. It's the story of 2 days over Christmas in the life of Lady Diana Spencer, which was, it wasn't very nice at all. But this woman, but poor Marilyn Monroe, she had 36 consecutive years of complete and utter crap. Nobody had got her back. Nobody. There wasn't a single nice person in this whole thing. I do remember seeing an interview with Joan Collins a while ago. She met Marilyn Monroe when she first went over to Hollywood, and Monroe's advice to Collins was, beware the monsters in Hollywood. And you can see why watching this. The sexual assault scenes are just horrifying. There are just so many things. They recreate the filming of The 7-Year Itch, the scene where the skirt blows up from the underground, and it looks, when you watch the movie, it looks it's very effective. What you don't realise, if this is right, is from behind you see thousands of men leering at her watching this being filmed. There are just so many things. There's a scene with JFK which is just horrific. I'm not surprised they'll object to it, but there are a lot of people have said that it is a really, really hard watch, and I would absolutely agree with that. This is not a movie to go into expecting a cute little biography of Marilyn Monroe, the screen icon. This is a warts and all. It's mostly wart. In fact, it's 99% warts. Account of what they think her life was, and if it was that bad, that poor woman, you just have to feel sorry for her. It is well worth watching. It is superb. It is nearly 3 hours long, but it does fly by. But I would definitely say, going in, be warned. It is a shocking film, really, really bad. But beautifully done, beautifully acted by everybody concerned, and well worth a look if you've got the stomach for it. And you'll find Blonde on Netflix. Well worth it. I'd have a look at it. So, right, what is next? What I've been buying this week? Oh my God, Amazon love me. They must do. The amount I've bought this week. I'll start with this book, even though this belongs on RetroMovieZone really, but I saw this and couldn't resist it. In Perfect Harmony. Which is basically an account of sort of novelty records from the 70s, sort of bubblegum pop from the 70s, how it came about, the artists, all that sort of thing. I love reading stuff like that, so I'm looking forward to having a read of that one. These two really belong on Retro TV Zone, and I will be doing a Doctor Who update on these as soon as I've watched them. The first one is Galaxy 4. Now this is made up of, well, this was a lost story. They had one episode returned to them, but they did have 4 audio recordings of all 4 episodes. And what they've done is created an animated version. Now, I watched the first episode of this morning, and I'm very impressed. It's a cracking piece of work. So I'm looking forward to watching the rest of that and also telling you what I think of it, but that'll be on the TV Zone. And this is another one that belongs on there. This one follows it. There's a Peter Davison one in here, but the one I'm interested in at the moment is the William Hartnell story, The Gunfighters. And then I think I've got one more story in the Hartnell area, which I believe is The War Machines. And then we move on to the Patrick Troughton stories, which I'm really looking forward to. Now, the movies. I am under so much pressure to watch this one at the moment. I can't remember how it came about, but somebody mentioned this one to me last week, and I said I hadn't seen it. And I've been under pressure to watch this, so I'm going to get it watched. Deadpool. Never seen it, don't know anything about it, apart from the fact it's some kind of anti-superhero, swears a lot. But apart from that, I know absolutely nothing, but I'm told this is absolutely brilliant. So I will be having a look at this hopefully later this morning. I'll give you my thoughts on that one next week, but that's another one I'm under pressure to get watched. Oh God, there are so many of these. This one, Truck Turner. I had a bit of a phase probably 2-3 weeks ago after having listened to Quentin Tarantino's podcast on some of the blaxploitation movies that he used to watch many years ago. And this is one of them, Truck Turner. Isaac Hayes, who had a hit in 1971 with the theme from Shaft. He was also the voice of Chef in South Park, so I'm looking forward to having a look at that one. That's going to be pure 1970s. And another one in the same vein, Black Mama, White Mama. I think I've got that right, yeah. I believe this was known as Women in Cages in certain circles. It's one of those exploitation women in prison things. So I really want to see that. Pam Grier is in there. And she was in a couple of the movies that I got last week, Coffee and Foxy Brown, I think it's called. But I love these kind of things. They're just pure 70s, so they suit me down to the ground. The next few are from James Sanders' top 10 list from last week. I was going to get hold of them on Prime and all this sort of thing, but I thought, you know what, I saw these for about £1 each. There's no point in tracking them down on Prime. Blitz, Jason Statham, he loves this movie, and I can't wait to have a look at this. It's set in the 70s apparently, so I'm already getting a Sweeney vibe from this one. Looking forward to having a look at this. Paddy Considine's in there, Aidan Gillen. It's to do with a cop killer and tracking them down. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm guessing it's going to be typical 70s police work, a lot of brutality in there, but he swears by that one. And also this one. Where are we? Piranha. Or as it's better known to me, Bites and Boobies, because that's basically what this is. I remember seeing this a long time ago, but I haven't seen it for a while, so I'm going to take that one in. And also its sequel, Piranha 3DD. I mean, judging by the cover, it's pretty easy to realise who the target audience is for this. Yeah, one closer. There you go. So that's another one I want to watch. These were 2 for £25 in HMV. I couldn't resist them. I've wanted to see this one for ages, Soylent Green. There's something about 70s sci-fi that I absolutely love. It's normally glitzy, it's normally bright. You've also got examples of very, very dark sci-fi movies like this one, possibly the Planet of the Apes movies, Logan's Run. This is Charlton Heston. I've wanted to see this for quite a while, so I'm looking forward to watching that. And this one I saw many, many years ago and thoroughly enjoyed it, Demon Seed. Now, this had a lot of controversy surrounding it in the 70s when it first came out. I remember reading newspaper articles on this when it was first released in the UK. And obviously, I made a point of watching it the second it came out. I think it was VHS. I do remember being surprised by how nasty it was. Whether it will still live up to that now, I don't know, because this thing is getting on for 50 years old. 1977, I think it came out. Whether it's lost a lot of its impact over the years, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out. This is an Australian classic. Yet again, another phase that I went through not too long back was getting hold of Australian films. Any Australian cinema that I've seen in the past, I've really enjoyed. A Cry in the Dark, The Devil's Playground, all that kind of thing. This one, Waking Fright, I don't know much about it apart from the fact it's to do with a school teacher who takes a trip to the outback. Apparently it's very brutal. There are a lot of kangaroos being killed in this, which I think was the cause of a bit of a stir when it first came out. This is from, I think, 1971, and it's still an 18 certificate, so that's going to be as nasty as hell, but I'm looking forward to watching that. My MCU journey continues very, very shortly. I haven't watched one for quite a while, but I'm going to start again with this one, Thor. This is the next one in the journey. Again, know nothing about this. Who's in it? Oh, God, the writing. Can't read it. Tom Hiddleston. Chris Hemsworth. That's got to be the big name, hasn't it? So, yeah, looking forward to getting back into that. I've got to find out what the one is after this and get that one ordered as well. So we're back on the MCU journey. And finally, this is one that Guy recommended to me. Still Crazy. Never seen it, but watched the Random Guy video that he did a couple of weeks ago. Immediately went to watch the trailer and thought, that looks really good. So I'm going to be taking a look at that one. All to do with a hairy old rock band getting together after 20 years. You've got some stars in this as well. Stephen Rea, Billy Connolly, Jimmy Nail, Timothy Spall, Bill Nighy. That's quite a cast. So that's going to be at least watchable. And that, I think, is it. Soundtrack of the week. It's got to be this one. It's a bit kiddified, I know, but I love some of the songs on this. And the movie itself, the original version with Gene, tell me. Gene Wilder. It's absolutely superb. And there are some cracking tracks on this. The Candyman, Pure Imagination, which everybody knows. As soon as you hear it, you know that one. Oompa Loompa. Doopity-doo. I love having this in the car every now and then. It's just nice, easy listening stuff. Can't stand noise first thing in the morning. So this to me is perfect every now and then. But that's my soundtrack of the week, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Book of the week has got to be this one. I picked it up last week. I've already started it. Look, there's the bookmark. Silent Running. You can barely see it because it's all black. But Mark Kermode wrote this, and this is his sort of account of how the movie was made, its reception, its release, all that sort of thing. So I'm going to read this, and so I'll be well versed in Silent Running before I even watch it. But I've already started that. It's a cracking little book. Plenty of illustrations in there. All sorts. You'll know rubbish ham at this, but I'm not even going to try it. But that one I'm into at the moment, so I'll let you know what I think of that one. I've actually finished it. And the other thing was, I picked this up a while ago, but we were talking about Blonde earlier. So I'm going to be taking a look at these at some point. Now, this is a Blu-ray box set of 4 of her movies, which are The 7-Year Itch, Some Like It Hot, superb, How to Marry a Millionaire, and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. The only one of these movies I've seen is Some Like It Hot, which I've seen several times. Now, she did, I didn't realise this, she did about 25 movies. That's quite a few for the short life that she had. She died when she was 36. So what I would like to do, apart from watching these, is actually track down some of her earlier movies. I believe she was in one called The Asphalt Jungle. There was Bus Stop, The Misfits, which was her last movie. I would love to watch her entire back catalogue right from the start to see how she progresses as an actress. But I would really love to watch these. I think I'll save these for 4K. So that's 4K again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching those. So right, that's it for this week, folks. As I say, I'm trying to keep it at a sensible length, because I think people's attention span doesn't usually run to sort of an hour and a quarter, 2 hours. It's a rare one. I might do another longer one at Christmas, but I think this is perfect. This is just fine as it is. So thanks ever so much for joining me as usual. I'll be back with you again next week, roughly about the same time. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. That'd be brilliant. Have a brilliant week, folks. Have a great week. And again, thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you all again next weekend. Take care, folks. Ta-ra.